G'day to all my friends and family, and welcome to Jim's 5am Club. This is number 994. And I've got 6 to go to make my 1,000 in English, and I'm starting to feel a little bit excited because my goal, my massive goal, God willing of course, is possibly going to get achieved tomorrow on my 61st birthday. So what I'll do is click over one more onto the Jim's 5am counter, do one more vlog, and today's vlog is entitled Catalyst. Catalyst by a fellow with a long and challenging name, but I'll see if I can pump it out. Chandramouli Venkatesan. There you go, I've got his name. So this book here is about catalysts, and it's a powerful term. I remember when I was at school at Newington College, when I was doing chemistry in year 11 and year 12, 1976 and 1977, and I remember learning about catalysts, and it's one of those really interesting, powerful, mind-blowing topics of how things can help other things react and achieve their potential. So a catalyst, let's just remind ourselves what a catalyst is. A catalyst in scientific terms is anything that boosts the speed of a chemical reaction or any other reaction or engagement. So I guess the key for each and every one of us is to try and be catalysts to ourselves, to be able to motivate ourselves and to get ourselves to do things and to express ourselves and to become the best versions possible, and also to help those around us, to provide a platform of growth and development, to provide an environment which facilitates the right reactions and the right engagements to ensure that people grow in a structured and a serving way, so that they benefit from the experience as opposed to suffer and stress from the experience and the engagement. So the author makes 3 formal points in this book summary, and what I'll do is I think we should basically step through each one of those and give it an opportunity to be passed through the Ethernet and for us to consider it. Because what the author here says that a focus on personal growth will carry you much further through your career than simply just getting a promotion. And it makes sense, like I remember when I was working at IBM, people talked about the Peters or the Peter principle, which basically said that people will be promoted to their level of incompetence. So sooner or later, somebody will reach a level where they're incompetent and they can't go any further. And that's the Peter principle. So what the author here is saying, whilst taking that Peter principle into consideration, is that you'll get a lot further in your career if you focus on growth and development and training, as opposed to simply just licking your way around the organisation in order to get promoted. Now, I guess in some ways a promotion may get you refocused and get you noticed, but if you don't have the capability and the skills, then you're going to struggle, and the promotion may end up being probably the worst decision you ever made, because you may end up working in a role which is beyond you, or stresses you out or doesn't allow you to express your skills, and you end up hating your job anyway. So the first formal point from this book is to focus on personal growth and development rather than just getting promoted, because that will probably help you much more in the long term, is the big message. Because when it's all said and done, and we've all experienced this over the years, careers are unpredictable. You're the ant's pants, you're the golden boy, golden girl one day, and then there's a change in management, and all of a sudden the new management team or the new leaders don't quite see the value in what you do and what you know, and your career changes direction all of a sudden. So the number of people whose jobs are made redundant once they get to a certain age is worrisome and problematic for all of us. So the author then reminds us that at the end of the day also, our careers won't go on a straight path. They don't follow a straight path. It's a meandering path that you need to learn how to surf and to manage, and the best way to do it is to build your skills along the way rather than try and be as popular as you can along the way, because popularity will get you to a certain level within your career, but it's results, skills and capabilities that will keep you growing and becoming a more added value to the corporation and the organisation that you're serving. So once again, the simple message is self-improvement is much more important than just focusing on promotion, and we need to build our experience and our network. To continue to build our experience and our network, and to expand and become better at what we can do, so that we can add more and more value regardless of the position that we're put in. So the next point that come out of this wonderful book that the author says is that we need to find mentors along the way and not managers. And the difference between a mentor and a manager is that a manager will hold you to account and generate results out of you, but a mentor will not only hold you to account and expand the results that you can generate, but they will also work with you to expand your capability and your gifts, if you know what I mean. So it's more important to find a manager who's both a manager and a mentor, rather than just working for a manager, for a task manager, who's just going to run you ragged and burn you out without allowing you, or without facilitating your growth and development and your needs, working with your needs. The author here reminds us of the things that we've learnt time and time again over these book summaries, and Steve Covey is the one who talks about this, and Jim Rohn was probably the first person that I heard talking about this, and Warren Buffett talks about it. Everybody talks about it these days, so it's a common sort of element amongst the speakers, the management speakers. But I guess the birth of this sort of concept goes all the way back to the ancient Greek philosophers and ancient philosophers, and I remember many of them said something similar as well. So trying to find the original author of this saying is probably pretty tricky, but I dare say that it goes well before Jim Rohn. And he says that at the end of the day that you end up being the average of the 5 people that you spend most of your time with. And I guess given that we spend most of our time at work, given that we spend most of our day, most of our thought processes at work, then it also goes on to say that we will end up becoming the average of the 5 people that we work with, that we hang out with, that we work for in our careers and in our work lives. So what it says here is that that influence that we're surrounded by is very, very important. And not only is it important, but you, yes, you, me, we need to be very, very careful with who we decide to work for and who we spend our time with within a work environment, within a corporate sphere. Because as we said, whatever their thought patterns are, whatever their work ethic is, it's going to eventually rub off on you, and it's going to have a positive or a negative impact. But it's up to you to be mindful of it, to be very, very mindful of it, and to be careful with how you spend your time and who influences you the most. The author here talks about mentors, saying that mentors foster an environment of trust and learning by helping you push your own limits. That's a nice thing to know. But whenever you're moving into a new team, whenever you're changing organisations, always remember that you're moving into a different culture. And the team that you're working in, and an organisation has lots and lots of different teams. You know, I've worked for the top companies in the world, and within each of those companies, each team is very, very different. Each manager is very, very different. You've got great managers, you've got great mentors, but you've also got people who are incompetent and not up to the job. And the last thing you want to do is to be spending or investing the best years of your career working for somebody who is only interested in your results but not interested in your growth, development, and you reaching your ultimate potential outside of the job. So the author also goes on to talk about the fact that we grow more effectively by focusing on choosing the right hobbies. So it's not only about work. You know, work takes up a certain amount of time in our lives, but we also need to have something outside of work that enables us to hone our skills, hone our character, and allow us to release the stress and to express ourselves, because we all have a number of gifts which are suppressed within a corporate environment. You know, there's no way in the world, I'm telling you now, there's absolutely no way in the world that I could deliver Jim's 5 a.m. club if I was still working for a top-tier law firm, if I was working for any major corporate, because I'd be shit scared about what I'm saying, how I'm saying it, how it's going to be perceived, and what impact it would have on my career. So the fact that now I can do and say whatever I want within reason, of course, because one of the codes of conduct that we have when we're working is that we need to make sure that we don't say or do anything that will insult or impact the people that we represent. So I too still need to be careful, but not as careful as when I was working, as I said, for a top-tier law firm, because I've got to tell you, working in those sorts of environments is oppressive. You have your manhood, you have your spirit, you have everything smashed and basically removed from you. I don't know how to explain it, but in many of the organisations I've worked in, the people that I've worked with are working on fear. They're working in, they're fearful of everything they do. They're fearful of what they say. They're fearful of their interactions with people. There are bullies in organisations. There is a cultural undercurrent, which if you're diametrically opposed to, or if you're against, or if people catch wind that you're against that current, or you think differently, you're going to be ostracised and sidelined, because we live in a cancel culture. And as I said, there's no way in the world that I could be working for a major corporate and have the freedom to be able to express myself the way I have over the past year. No way. I challenge anybody in a leadership position, even if you're a CEO, I guarantee that you don't have the balls and you don't have the tits to do what I'm doing. And I know I'm right, because I've lived in those environments and I've operated in those environments for 35 years. And things are not getting better, they're getting worse. So we need to work outside of those environments, outside of those oppressive environments, to enable us to grow, develop and become who we're destined to be. So the author here says that great leaders are also passionate about striving sports. So what's a striving sport? A striving sport are sports that are difficult, competitive, and are done individually. Now, a top example of a striving sport, of course, is something like tennis, something like golf. You get what I'm talking about, those sort of sports where it's you against yourself and against the elements. Running is another one. Marathon runners, long distance runners, because you're running not to beat somebody else, but you're usually running those massive events to beat yourself. So it enables you to build your character, to express your character, to express your inner being. And we all need to learn how to surpass our irrational limits, the limits that we've inherited from our family, our friends, the media, society. And the way to do that is by these competitive and striving sports that we've talked about. So this improvement mindset that we can express in sports and hobbies is something that may not be available to most of us when we're working in the corporate sphere, as I alluded to before. And in order to find a balance in our lives, our work lives, we need to incorporate them into our mindset and into our capabilities. So thank you very much for joining me on this episode of Jim's 5am Club. I want to finish off with a positive affirmation. I'm alive, I am well, I feel absolutely great. To my friends and family, stay connected, stay relevant, stay reasonable. And thank you once again for joining me on this episode. The sun is slowly going down, as you can see up there. It's starting to head down, and it's going to be a full moon tonight as well. And we're also going to have a mini eclipse of the moon, and it's going to be a red moon from what I hear. And it's the eve of my 61st birthday. Look, I feel good, I feel great. I went apple picking with my granddaughter today, and we had an absolute ball. We went up to Bilpin, and it was just an awesome experience, just the two of us. And as I say, I've got 6 more after this one here, I've got 6 more vlogs to deliver in order to reach my 1,000. And I'm going to be honest, I'd never thought that I could do it, because initially I thought I'd be able to do maybe 1 vlog a day, if that, and hopefully deliver, 1,000 in 3 years. But then I sat and thought about it, and I said, look, I'm 60 years of age. In 3 years I'll be 63, and I got this little nervous thought because my mother died at 63, and she was sick before she died. So I said to myself, I'm not going to push it. I'm not going to leave it to chance. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do whatever I can right now to achieve that goal as quickly as I can. So I decided to try and do it within a year. So God willing, tomorrow I've got 5 or 6 more to do. I might do 1 more tonight to make it just a simple 5 to do. And we'll see where it takes us. But it's been one of those projects that I've done. It's an act of love. And when I look back, if I was to do it for likes, if I was to do it for comments, if I was going to do it for pats on the back, then obviously looking back, I wouldn't have done it, because I haven't got the likes, I haven't got the pats on the back, and I haven't got a lot of those things that you'd expect that you'd get given the amount of effort that I've put into this project. But it doesn't bother me, as I say, I've done it as an act of love. It's my legacy. I'll be able to pass it on to my family, my children, my friends, and whoever can use this as a platform for their own growth and development. The fact that I can talk for 20 minutes at a time with just a few brief notes means that I've come a long way, and the confidence that I've been able to generate, I'm sure I'm going to be able to use going forward, because I said from the very beginning that if I can get to 1,000, then when I get to 1,000, that is when I will know the craft. I'll be better at the craft, and I'll be much better at delivering these going forward. And I'll try and change the format, try and change the way I deliver it, depending on what I feel like doing, and what I feel is most effective. Anyway, so I think I'll leave it there for now. So thank you very much for joining me. We'll chat again. Lakia. To my friends and family, I look forward to coming to you again later on tonight, or definitely tomorrow, where I've got 5 or 6 more to do, and see how we go. Yasas, take care, get the leme. Bye for now.